Morning, everybody. Hopefully you've had a good weekend. So we got lots of this stuff to cover today. We'll just hop right in here. So 5-minute moneymaker. Last week's 5-minute moneymaker. Hey, Tricia, what happens to jointly held non-qualified assets when one of the couples dies? This knowledge is a great tool to leverage because few advisors talk about it. So make sure when you're reading these things on how to utilize it, especially if you're, in this particular case, if you're in Arizona, California, Idaho, Louisiana, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas, Washington, Wisconsin. If you didn't read this 5-minute moneymaker, you better get your hiney back there to read it, okay? So something you can really leverage. Last week's 5Q tape breakdown was this 1-minute snippet is a great example of how 5Q techniques work, even if you don't do them perfectly. It's nice to hear that even when we stumble, they work, and again, we want to learn from other people's mistakes so we stumble less than what this gentleman did. So make sure you're looking and watching those. Tom brought up the fact that since we're going into the marketing season here pretty darn quick in 2 or 3 weeks, you're obviously going back to master those 21 and get yourself not only refamiliarized, but remember, do we want to get those scripts done until we can't get them wrong? Let me ask you that. Do we want to get the 21-point checklist scripts done until we can't get them wrong? Yeah, and I kind of spoiled my own thunder there. We don't want to do them until we get them right. We want to do them until we can't get them wrong. Make sense? So, but he said there's some ancillary scripts that you want. Maybe it makes sense to remind everybody about as well. So thanks, Tom, for bringing that up. One is the asking for referral script at the end of every 21, whether it's a 21 or a 21 light. We should be using that referral script. And again, who do they help? When we do this referral script that I brought up here about 3 weeks ago, who are they helping? You or the person they're recommending? Themselves. Very good, guys. Awesome. Now, how many other referral scripts leverage that are out there? I mean, people have been talking about referrals for freaking how many decades, and it's always like, hey, can you help me? Hey, it's another way I get paid. Hey, blah, blah. Dudes, they're not going to help you. They're not going to help their friend. They're going to help themselves. So make sure you master that referral script. It does. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten emails and phone calls from guys saying, geez, I got referrals that I never got before. So for using that script. So you make sure you have that script down. The one-legger script in case they come in with only one spouse. We need to be good at that. Just about the money script. And do we use this script if they come in and just want to know about the money? What else would we use this script? What else would we use just about the money script? What else? Yeah, RMD. So if they come in just wanting to know about the RMD, if they come in just wanting to know about the one way, if they come in just wanting to know about any one thing, this script will get them to understand that you can't just look at one thing because we made a recommendation with just one thing without going through the 21-point checklist, we'd be a salesperson. And they don't want a salesperson. They want something custom designed to themselves. So they understand that we have to take lots of, when you're going to custom design a suit, if you go to Men's Warehouse, they take 3 measurements. If you go to Seville Row, how many measurements do they take? 3? If you go to JCPenney, they don't take any. If you go to Men's Warehouse, they take 3. If you go to Seville Row in England, they take how many measurements? Yeah, 12 to 18. So we're going to let them know that they want something just off the shelf, something that one size fits all, or they want something that's custom fit. And they have to tell you that. And when they tell you that, that's how you get them into the full 21 instead of just wanting to talk about that one particular issue. So whatever issue that is, Social Security, Medicare, one-way, whatever that one thing they want to talk about is, you just substitute that in for the money. Make sense? So you should be good at that script. Asking to tape script, you should be good at that. And getting the statements. And you can do that either with just about the money script or tie the power of attorney to everything. And there's also a script just called getting the statement script. So make sure you're good at that. So thanks, Tom, for bringing those things up. So guys, make sure you're not only getting great at the 21, but you're going to run into these on a regular basis as well while you're marketing, okay? So how do we, what is the road to success? How do we become successful? This is what we like to think it is. We like to think, we have a big idea. Someone gives us money to implement the idea. I build it, and then we have overnight success. Is that the way success works, guys? Not even close. This is what success looks like. It looks messy. Messy, messy, messy. You start, you're insecure a lot, you work really hard. So far, does this define the 5Q process? You start, you're insecure a lot, and you work really hard. Does that define the 5Q process so far? You get lots of help. Fail a lot. Life happens to get in the way. But then all of a sudden, when everything starts working, it seems like you have overnight success, because all of a sudden, it's like a light switch is turned on. You're struggling, and all of a sudden, boom, light switch goes on. And I have an idea what I think that light switch is. Jeff, what do you think that light switch is? It could be any number of things, but what would you say, Jeff, that light switch is?
Well, I think the light switch is when you realize that the scripts really, so risk reward isn't really about the risk that they're taking. The fees aren't really about the fees that they're paying. The interest rate volatility isn't really about the fact that it's not a good time to have bonds. When you really realize that it's really just an excuse to have a conversation about their guy, that's when people really have success with it.
Yep, and I would add to that. Where I think the light switch goes on is twofold. One is when you learn to ask open-ended questions, but two is what Jeff is saying there, is when you follow through on all the scripts. What do I mean by follow through on all the scripts? It's what Jeff is talking about there, but I want you to say, like we learned on this weekend, we need to name it. We need to name that thing. Motive, right, Wade? We need to get them to say the motive. That's when the light switch goes on. And when you start to get them to say the motive, guess how many people move to you? Every single one. So that's the light switch. Success is, do you need to be good at that from the first day that you come on to 5Q? No, success isn't overnight. It's when you get a little bit better every day. So it's when every day you get a little better than the day before. It all adds up. How do you get a little bit better? We actually have something that's hardwired into the 5Q system that gets you a little better every day. What is that thing? Very good, Nick, Jerry, good. Wade, it's the MIFT, the 15-minute drill. If you're not doing that, guys, what would you call somebody who could, if they did the 15-minute drill for a year, would be making more than a surgeon at no extra cost, no whatever, and he thinks that he's got all sorts of excuses why they wouldn't do the 15-minute drill? What would you call that guy? Holy crap. What would you call that guy? Can't do a 15-minute drill. Got all sorts of wannabe, lazy. What else are we getting here? So we only got 4 guys. Fool, dreamer. Dreamer. That's what I'd say. Dreamer. Yep, absolutely. So, guys, do that 15-minute drill. So, how to fail at almost everything and still win big. Kind of the story of my life. So guys, I spent 8 years making 50 grand a year. Even the first 3 years when I went from making 50 grand to a million, I was failing. But what was I doing every time I failed? Not that first 8 years. What I did there is I got on the gerbil wheel and I went round and round and round and failed the exact same way every single time. What was I was learning, Mark, exactly. I was learning. Andy, I was getting better. So what I was doing is saying, listening to my tape every single day. And I'm only asking you guys to do it 15 minutes. I listened to my tapes for an hour every single day. And I said, you know what, that thing there, that thing that I did wrong, I'm going to try something different to see if it works better. And I only worked on one little thing. And Jeff came up with a real clever thing for those of you who've been out to training here the last year or so, showing it. It's like the movie Groundhog's Day. Bill Murray ends up getting the girl. But how did he end up getting the girl? Was that girl the epitome of a tire kicker and plate licker at the beginning of that movie when it came to Bill Murray? Did she want anything to do with Bill Murray at the beginning of that movie? No. And how many times did he try to get her? Over and over and over. But what he did was what? He didn't get her the first. He fixed one little thing after another, after another, after another, after another, until everything was fixed. That's what I did. I failed at everything, but then I fixed the thing I was failing at. Then I found something else I was failing at, and then I fixed that. It's just like Groundhog's Day. And you know what? Here's the great thing. Not only has it worked for me, but we've had, a huge chunk of guys that have made more than I made. with this system. Why? Because it's not about me. It was about who? The system that was the 5Q system was not about me. What was it about? Who told us how to design that system? The clients. And do you think my clients were much different than any of your clients or any other clients out there? They come in suspicious. They come in loving their guy. They come in loving their situation. They come in not trusting us. And what does the system do? It gets them to decide for themselves that I can't live with my current situation. So we gotta quit setting goals. Don't set goals. So goal setting is a terrible, terrible thing. We need to instead focus on something else. What should we focus on instead of goal setting? I'm going to talk about why goals are terrible here in a second. What do we have to focus on instead of goal setting? Here's the thing. This is a big picture, guys. So if I want to build 100 cars, should I say, my goal is 100 cars, and then I go into the garage and I look for all the bolts and I look for all the things that I'm going to need? What am I going to get if that's my goal? You got it, Gary. So, guys, what if I just have this goal of making 100 cars? What's the chance I'm going to have making 100 cars? What do I need to do instead of saying, I've got a goal of making 100 cars? What should I have instead? I need a system. I need a system. The only way I'm going to have a chance of building 100 cars is if what? If I reverse engineer a system that will allow me to build 100 cars. I need to know what? I need to know how many things I'm going to need. I need to know the supply chain of how to get them there. I'm going to need to know how I'm going to put those things together. I'm going to need to know how to put those things together in the right order. I need to systematize a process. Exactly, Keith. A process. I need to systematize it. And instead of having a goal of 100 cars, how easy is it to determine whether I'm going to make 100 cars if I have a system? With a system, I should know what? Do they know? Do you think that Ford has a goal of making so many cars, or do they know exactly how many cars are coming off that assembly line every day? They know exactly how many cars are coming off that assembly line every single day. They can slow it down. They can speed it up because all they do is tweak the system. But if they have a goal, guess what that's worth? Diddly-do. And I actually think a goal is even worse than not being able to achieve what you want. I think it's demoralizing. Because I used to set goals. Guess how often I met my goals? Never did. Never met my goals. And guess how soon I was off track? How soon, guys, maybe you've experienced this. When you set a goal in this business, how quickly do you get off track or fall behind? I'm going to make $1 million this year, which means I have to make how much this month? 900,000. So how quick? 900,000. 90,000. So, geez, if I didn't make it the first month, I'm behind. By second month, I need to be up 180,000. Holy crap! Guess what? Now what I'm going to do? I've only made 40,000 so far in the first 2 months, and I need to be at 180. Guess what I'm going to do with my goal at that point? Bullshit. Press harder. What am I going to do at that point? Scrap it. Right. Get overwhelmed. Throw it away, and say, guess what? Next January, I'll set a new goal. So I hate goals. So if I look last year and I say, geez, I made 250,000 and I closed whatever it is, I closed 18 people and their average client size was blah, 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 what can I do with that information? I made this much, my average case size was this big, and I closed this many people. Now guess what I can do? What can I do? That's right. I just turned it into a formula, Wade. I quantified, John. I just turned it into a formula. So, okay, in order to get in front of, I need to get in front of 4 times as many people if I want to make $1 million. So how am I going to do that? Well, I need to do 4 times as much marketing, or I need to do twice as much marketing, double the clients. I have something that I can do and systematize. Am I in control of how much marketing I do? Am I in control of that? Yes. Am I in control of how much money I make just by setting a goal? Just by saying, I'm going to make $1 million. Is there anything that I have? No, that's not something I can control. So systematizing means putting something in place, things that you can control. And by doing those things, in the end, you should get pretty clear, pretty close to what you want. But just setting a goal is worthless. In fact, it's demoralizing because sooner rather than later, you're going to be behind. If I know how much marketing I need to do and I get behind in my marketing, guess what I can do? Can I fix that? Yeah, that's something I can fix. If I'm behind, if I've only made $40,000 and I need to be at $180,000, is that really something I'm in control of? Is that something I can fix by waving a magic wand around and all of a sudden making more money? No. But with market, if I need more marketing, that's something I control. So systematizing means having things in place that if you follow that system, it will work out in the end. Some months you're going to be behind, some months you're going to be ahead, but in the end it will work. And it's things that I can control by activity, things I am physically in control of. I'm not in control of how much money I make. I am in control of how much marketing I do. I am in control of how well I perform at the meetings. I am in control of whether I do a 21-point checklist or not. Those are things that I'm in control of. I am in control of whether I do annual reviews. I am in control of whether I use the referral script. I am in control of whether I have the epidemic marketing going. I'm in control of those things. I'm not in control of my goals. Goals are demoralizing, so you need to have systems in place. You need to systematize. Here's some ways to systematize. Every day you should start with what? 15-minute drill. Every day you should start with a 15-minute drill. Is there what would be the only reason you shouldn't start with a 15-minute drill? If you're at work, there is zero reason. If you're at work, there is zero reason to not do the 15-minute drill. Can everything that you do wait 15 minutes in your business? Is there anything in your business you couldn't wait 15 minutes at the beginning of the day to do? You know, I have some guys, I'll ask them, hey, how'd you do in your 15-minute drill this week? Well, you know, I had a lot of appointments outside the office. What do I say to those people? Okay. I'm confused. I asked you how you doing the 15-minute drill. Yeah, great. You had a lot of appointments outside the office. I'm confused though. Why would that have anything to do with the 15-minute drill? Should that have anything to do with 15-minute drill? Should it? Come on, answer, guys. No. So every day you should start with a 15-minute drill. Do emails and voicemails only 3 times a day. What are those 3 times, do you guess? After your first 15-minute drill, at lunch, and before you go home. Otherwise, what are you doing? If you're looking at your emails and your voicemails every time you get dinged, you look at your email. What are you getting done? What's constantly happening in your? You know what? I've done it. Don't get me wrong. We've all done this. I've done this. And all I did was answer emails all day long. What did I get done? How did I get better that day by answering emails all day long? Every time one comes in, I answered. Every time I answered. Every time one comes in, I answered. Nothing gets done. You should only do emails right after your 15-minute drill, at noon, and at the end of the day. So what's the longest somebody's going to have to wait for you to get back to them? What's the longest somebody's going to have to wait for you to get back to them? If you do it that way. 3 or 4 hours. Are you going to lose any clients by not getting back to somebody within 3 or 4 hours? So why do you think we all love to answer our email? And we all complain, oh, I hate emails, I get all these emails. And yet, where are we every time an email dings? It's like Pavlov's dog. Why do we do that, guys? Well, there's lots of reasons psychologically. But I think, Dave, you're right. It makes us feel more productive, like we're doing something, accomplishing something. That is answering emails productive, guys? No. Also, I don't know whether that's number 5. I guess my my PowerPoint's not working right. Ignore emails that will not increase your business. Guys, what do you think I do when somebody sends me an email and says, look at what these people are doing. Do you think maybe we should do this? Hey, did you know the other FMOs are doing this? You know the other marketers are doing this? Guys, guess what you've hired me to do? You really think you're getting notification of stuff that I'm not aware of? What are you doing? What are you doing when you're looking at emails and reading emails about that other FMOs and other marketers are sending to you? Now, if you don't think that the 5Q system is working for you, you don't think that it's what your thing, your jam, then go ahead and look at the emails, because you got to find something that's going to work better for you. But if you think 5Q is your jam, then what should you be doing? You know, because here's the thing: I get guys that send me, look at this FMO. They said they're getting their advisors. They're getting their advisors 15 appointments a week, and all these people have $1 million of assets. That's awesome. If they're doing that, all they need to do is offer you a what, guys? What do they need to do if they're doing that for you? Offer you a what? Guarantee, Cheryl, right. Guess what they're not doing? See, unfortunately, does the FTC protect you? Does the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, protect you from FMOs lying to you and making offers that are not true? So guess what every FMO does? So why are you looking at the emails? Again, Jeff, when should they start looking at those emails of other FMOs and other offers and other possibilities? When should they start looking at those?
Only after you've decided that this isn't going to work for you. Only after you decided that this doesn't fit your personality, or for whatever reason you're completely done with this. Then you should start looking at those.
Yeah.
And after they give you a guarantee.
Yeah. Go ahead. But if you're doing 5Q, where should all your time be spent? You got time to be reading those things. You got time to be getting better at your scripts or doing another 15-minute drill for the day. Make sense? All of my clients and prospects are on the epidemic drip, so that's another how to systematize it. If all my clients and prospects are on the epidemic drip, that's a system. That means you've got marketing happening in the background. That thing that we talked about last week, the new home system, that's a system. It just happens for you automatically in the background. It's systematizing your marketing. Having 3 or 4 types of marketing going at all times. So maybe it's epidemic marketing is part of it. The new home is part of it. The either the our seminar or the white glove seminar or the eye to eye is part of it. And we've got 10 different marketing systems on the site that you could be running at any one time. One of my guys never did any seminars, and he'd say, Mike, all of your marketing sucks. All of your marketing sucks. And he was one of my biggest producers. And I said, thanks, Frank. Why did you make so much last year? He goes, well, I'm just kidding you. All of your stuff sucks, but by me doing 5 things at one time, guess what happens? I'm getting in front of 5, 6, 7 new people every single month. So none of your stuff, and he was doing all the ancillary marketing, not the big marketing, not the seminars, not the eye-to-eye. He was doing all the little ones that I have in the library on the website, in the archive. He was doing 4 or 5 of those, and by doing 4 or 5 of those, he was getting in front of, one was giving him 2 this month and none next month, another was giving him 1 every single month, another was giving him 3 this month and nothing for 2 months, but he had this constant flow of 5, 6, 7 people coming in every single month, and he made a ton of money doing that. You should have 3 or 4 types of marketing. So we've given you 2 real easy ones, epidemic marketing and the new home marketing. That's 2 very easy, and then just add on 1 of the seminars or the eye-to-eye. Then you got 3 going at all the time. Follow through. You should follow. Are you following through on after your appointment with the little system that we have for that, or when they become a client with the onboarding system that we have, or after making a marketing contact? We have systems for you to follow. You don't even have to think about it. You should just have these things prepped and ready to go after you either have an appointment with somebody, or they become a client, or after the marketing contact. Are you doing regular tape reviews with Jeff or Mike? That's systematizing. Every time I do a tape review, or I send in a tape review every 2 weeks or every week or whatever it may be, I send in a tape review. Are you on every coaching call? That's systematizing. 5-minute moneymaker, Thursday tape breakdown. So are you doing these things? If you were doing these things, what are you guaranteed to make? As much as you want to make. And here's the last one. Make sure your calendar is full. And empty hours in your calendar equals empty pockets. Empty hours in your calendar equals empty pockets. What do I mean by that? I'm going to be it's going to be a generalization statement, but from 2000 to 2006, virtually every guy that came on the system memorized those scripts within the first month, memorized all the 21-point checklist scripts within the first month. They all did. They memorized it, and I could actually start a script, and they could finish the sentence for me. They knew it that much. So do you think the advisors from 2000 to 2006 were smarter than you guys? Because they all knew the scripts better than you. They weren't smarter than you. So what do you think the difference is? They had chains on them. They had chains on them. What do you mean? What do you think I meant by chains? They had chains on them that you don't have. And let's see if somebody can get this. They had chains on them that you guys do not have. Well, here's what it is. Do you know how many, when I email you or call you, do you know how many times I get notified that I'm receiving that from an iPhone or from an Android? So guess where those guys, 2000 to 2006, guess where they spent their 40 hours a week? Where did they spend their 40 hours a week? In the office. So when they didn't have an appointment, guess what they were doing? They're doing the 21. They were learning. They were constantly. They had their calendar full because they had to be. Could they leave their office? No, because they needed somebody there to answer phone. They needed to be there in case somebody called. In today's world of technology, guess how many of us think, hey, if I don't have any appointments today, I can leave because guess what I can do with my office phone? Guess what my assistant can do? Do you see? Back 2000, 2006, if they needed to look into a client's folder, guess where they needed to be? In the office. If they need to look at a client's account, guess where they need to be? In the office. In today's with smartphones, guess what guys feel they can do? Be outside the office. So when you're in the office, your calendar should be full. If you don't have something to do, then what should you be doing during that time? If you don't have something to do, what should you be doing? Learning, MIFT, scripts. Yeah, exactly. What if you already did a MIFT today? If you have extra time, what should you do then? Do another one. Learn the 21. But too many of us do what? Hey, you know what? It's 2 o'clock. I have no more appointments. Guess what I'm going to do? Take off. If a client calls, it's going to be forwarded to my cell phone so I can go ahead. Hey, I get it. That's why we went into this business, so we could be independent, so we wouldn't be. But you know what? I'm just telling you, that's why guys back 2000, 2006, they had things memorized because when when they didn't have an appointment from 2 to 5, they stayed in the office until 5 in case somebody showed up or in case a client called. Guess what they did during those 3 hours? They learned the system even better. So guys, at least till you have everything mastered, don't be thinking you can be out of the office because you have a cell phone. Be in the office and be learning until you've got everything mastered. Says Coral, do you know why stickers never fail? Dad, stop. Because they stick to the plan. They stick to the plan, Coral. So here's what I mean by that. Everybody, you get a 21 and you get a 21. Everyone gets a 21. So how many of our clients and prospects should have 21s done on them? So go into the 5Q, because we do. Go into the 5Q software and find out how many plans have you done in 2017. Guys, what's the minimum amount of plans, any advisor that I have on my system, what's the minimum amount of plans that somebody who's been on since January should have in that system? What's the minimum amount of plans somebody should have done in 2017? We're 8 months in now, or 7.5 months in. How many should they have done? All clients. I'd agree with that, Dave. Yeah, they should have all their clients done. What else? Guys, if you have less than 17 21s done, what does that mean? I'm sorry, 17. If you have less than 8 21s in your calendar, what does that mean? in your calendar. If you have less than, oh, man, I better go have a beer. You have less, there you go. Everybody knows what I'm saying, even if I don't say it. It's less than 1 a month. If you have less than 14, what does that mean? Less than 2 a month. If you have less than 21, that means less than 3 months. Guys, if you're doing less than 3 21s a month, what do you want to make? Our average case size is 200,000. So if you're doing 1 a month, that means you want to make what then? If you're awesome if you close 100% of people that you meet, because you're awesome at the 21-point checklist, that means you've done how many? 12. So that means you make how much? Wade's got it, 12,000 a month, which means what? Make $144,000 a year. Guys, if you're on the 5Q system to make $144,000 a year, what do you think I'm going to tell you? If you're on the system to make $144,000, you don't need 5Q to make $144,000 a year. You should be able to do that yourself. I hope you're on 5Q at least to make $500,000 a year, if not $1 million. So if we go in and look and you don't have a bunch of 21s done, guess what we know about you? You're a doer or a dreamer. Now, does that mean that you're a bad person? No, it means you need to what? If you have less than 14, which means 2 a month, if you have less than 14 21s done in 2017, it means you need to do what? You need to pick up the phone and do what? Call Jerry. Call Jeff. Call me. Call Missy. We're here to help you. If you're awesome at the 21 and you're not getting in front of people, how much money? That's how you do only 1 a month. So for people who have done less than 7 or less than 14 or less than 21 this year, what does it tell you about their faith in their ability to do a 21-point checklist? Because if you had great faith in a 21-point checklist, how many of these would you want to do a month? That's going to be vary from person to person. Yeah, I would agree with a lot, Dave, because we don't know. Depends on what you want to make, but it turns into some people are going to be happy with only closing 3 people a month. Some people are going to want to close 7. Some people are going to want to close 5. Just a matter of personal preference. But when you have less than 14 21s done this year, it means what? You're a doer or a dreamer. You're a dreamer. So guys, here's the thing about the 21-point checklist. Instead of being an emergency room surgeon, you can be a cosmetic surgeon. Instead of making what an emergency room surgeon, who makes more, emergency room surgeon or a cosmetic surgeon? Emergency room or cosmetic? Cosmetic surgeon makes probably 5 times more. Who has better hours, emergency room or the cosmetic surgeon? Cosmetic surgeon does. But emergency room surgeons don't look at cosmetic surgeons as being real doctors. They're like, oh, they're not saving lives. All they're doing is, facelifts and tummy tucks and whatever. They're not saving lives. I save lives. I get it. Who's got their business systematized, the emergency room surgeon or the cosmetic surgeon? Who's got their business systematized? Is it possible for an emergency room surgeon to systematize his business? He has no clue. He has no clue what's going to come rolling in that night. So, but the cosmetic surgeon, guess what? There are cosmetic surgeons that only do nose jobs. They've got a system. They come in on Monday. They work from 9 to 5, and they've got their business systematized. That's what the 21-point checklist. That's what 5Qs offers you. Are you doing that? Are you taking advantage of that, or is every day a different day for you? See that, Missy? How boring? How much different did my week, Missy, look? How much different did my week look, my workload look, the activities I did, say, on June 15th to the 22nd versus September 15th to the 22nd versus March 1st to the 8th? How much different did those days look?
Every week looked the same. It was all the same flow of traffic, the same kind of appointments, the exact same 21s that were in those folders.
So I guess this is boring, but I made a lot of money with boring. So guys, guess what systems do? I get it. Working on an assembly line is boring, but how many of you would work on an assembly line to make $1 million or $2 million a year? I went back into personal production today, $2 million would be easy. That's not even working any harder. It's doing the same thing. Just there's way more money in people's 401ks now than there was back 19 years ago. It was systematized. Is everybody here willing to work on an assembly line if you make $1 million, $2 million? I know I could walk down to any assembly line and ask them that. I guess they'd be willing to do it. So look at that. I got 1 yes, guys. That kind of tells me where everybody's at. 1 yes, 2 yeses. So the 3 keys to success: ask open-ended questions, or do it the easy way. Just learn the script, because the script is full of what? Open-ended questions. 2, be awesome at GOTS. 3, always get a client to say the motive. You do these 3 things, guess what you got? You got an ATM. And I have guys say, but Mike, it's hard. That's hard to do that. It's hard to do that. Guys, is it really hard to ask open-ended questions? Is it hard to do these things? Ask open-ended questions, be awesome at GOTS, get the clients to always say the motive. Well, here's what I tell guys that say it's hard. Say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fly down to your office, and let's just work on 1 skill at a time. Let's do the open-ended questions skill. Because you say, man, it's just so hard to ask open-ended questions. I just kind of got built in that I tell, sell, preach, teach. You know, I've been doing it for years that way. It's just really hard to change. I say, okay, great. I'm going to fix it for you. I'm going to fly down, and I'm going to be in your office. And every time you ask, anything comes out of your mouth that isn't a open-ended question, I'm going to kick you hard in the nuts. So, guys, how many times are you going to open your mouth without an open-ended question coming out? So here's the thing: would there be some awkward questions, some clumsy questions? Absolutely. Would there be some awkward, long moments as you were trying to think, now how can I have exactly what am I going to say? Let me see, how do I turn that into a question? Could there be some long, awkward moments as you're trying to formulate what you want to say into the form of a question? Absolutely. So there'd be some awkward questions, there'd be some awkward pauses. But here's the funny thing: not 10 years, not 10 months, not 10 weeks, not 10 days, not even 10 hours of you focusing on making sure nothing comes out of your mouth except open-ended questions. Within 10 minutes, are your questions going to get better? Everybody answer this. Yeah. Are the pauses as you're trying to think things through going to get smaller? Yeah. So it's not a matter of it's hard, it's a matter of you being uncomfortable for how many minutes at a shot. Saying, I'm going to do this even if it's uncomfortable for 10 minutes, because I know if I do it for 10 minutes, I will get better. When should you start? When should you commit to doing this? Every single meeting right now. Make sense? It's not hard, it's a matter of focus. Because if you can learn a skill in 10 minutes, is that hard, guys? If you can learn a skill in 10 minutes, is that hard? No, it's not. It's just a matter you don't want to take the time or mental effort to do it. The difference between an ordinary and extraordinary is that the little extra. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Do you have to get fantastic at this overnight? No. How much better should you get every single day? All the things we talked about today, is that changing overnight? No, it's just getting a little bit better, 2% better every single. If you get 2% better every week, that's a tripling of your skills in 1 year. 2% better every day, holy moly, where would you be? Does that make sense? So guys, your success is in your hands, okay? Your success is in your hands. So I want to talk a little bit about the beneficiaries. We're going to listen to it, guys. A gentleman with, if I can find it here. Okay, here we go. So we're going to listen to a gentleman do the beneficiary script.
Thing that we want to talk about is your beneficiaries and how we have those titled. When you have your IRA, your 401k at work, you know, and you're investing in that, saving, and obviously, hopefully, that's growing every year, and you know, you get a pretty sizable asset put together. And let's say something were to happen to you. Okay. How does the 401k company or the IRA?
Okay, so what did he skip here, guys? skipped the first one. Where's most of their money in the IRA? Why is that important to have them say that? Because if that's where most of their money is, and there's a problem with that, is that a big problem or a small problem? It's a big problem. So exactly. So can't skip that. Okay. So here we go. But now he's going into number 2. How does the company know who gets it? So here we go.
Great. Asset goes to.
Something I completed at work?
Something you completed. So would you have done a form, for example, that would list?
I think my beneficiary
Form.
Okay,
exactly.
you got that
yeah,
then?
You got right to where I was going. So the company has a form listed on file that says, hey, if something were to happen to Lisa, this goes to Jason, and then if Jason were gone, it would go to the kids. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he say or did she say that the spouse is the beneficiary? He said it. So we missed that one. And then he's skipping way ahead to the kids. Are we supposed to be talking about the kids yet? No.
Exactly. So, that form is part of, life insurance policies and retirement accounts and things that's very, very important. So can I share with you
Who said it's important? Yep, he did.
A little story to explain the importance of that.
Sure.
Yeah. So I have a colleague in the business, and he recently had a client, or actually clients, come into his office, and they had a situation with they had a daughter, really successful woman, and was doing well at work and advancing up the chain, and she met a gentleman and decided to get married, and you know how it is when you get married, things are all rosy and the sky is blue and roses everywhere, and so they were married for a couple of years and finds out, hey, this guy isn't exactly who I thought it was, who I thought he was, and he's spending money, and come to find out he's fooling around, and so what's that lead to? Divorce, exactly. And so she gets a divorce, and thankfully a couple of years later she meets a great guy, and they get married and have some kids, and things are progressing well, and all of a sudden, hey, we're at that stage in our life where we can afford to take some vacations, and so what do families often do when it's time to go on a vacation? They get their affairs in order, and so what would that be? Will, exactly. So she basically sets up an appointment, goes to one of the best attorneys in town, and gets her wills and trusts and all that stuff put together, and they go on the vacation, and things are good and everything, and then unfortunately a couple of years later she passes away, and come to find out there was a form that she forgot in her 401k. And that's the beneficiary form. Yeah. And so unfortunately, and the reason my friends' clients were in there is they wanted to know if there was anything to do, because guess who got the 401k?
First husband.
The first husband, exactly. Yeah. And what do you think my friend had to tell him?
Nothing you can do.
Nothing to do. Yeah. And then they went to the attorney, and basically the attorney.
Nothing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. And so
So he got her to say everything he needed her to say because of skill or because of luck? She said what she needed to say, which is she gets that beneficiaries trump wills and trusts. She gets that, but he is lucky that she's smart and put 2 and 2 together, because he did not make that case. She figured it out for herself. He did not make the case. He needs to go back and learn that script how much better, a ton better, because she just was a smart gal and got it, okay? But he got it out of luck, not out of skill.
Form is critically important, and particularly with certain products that we use, or investment products we use, and so that's it's really important to have that set up straight. So let's walk through a little example.
Who said it was important to have that stuff set up straight? So he got her to admit he got her to admit the beneficiaries aren't the beneficiaries trump the will of the trust. But how many times has she said any of this stuff is important to her thus far? He said it 3 times. How many times has she said it? 0. So that's not good. That's not. Remember, this is we're built. Every little part of the script is building blocks to get to the motive. Here we go.
Example here. So this is your IRA, or if you'd like, your 401k. Okay.
Okay.
And if you pass away, it goes to
Jason.
right,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense.
Is that right?
He would probably be upset if
Pick somebody else there.
pick somebody else there. So, and then let's say, God forbid, something happens to Jason and you, then it
Okay.
goes to
The kids.
the kids. Yeah, and we have 2 kids here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know from our conversations that you have 2 lovely little grandkids.
Yes.
Yes. So, do you enjoy spending time with your grandkids?
So is he doing things in order right now, or is he skipping around? He's skipping around. Did he get her to say that the kids are equally? So it's not hurting him logic-wise yet, but why do we want them to say kids equally here and kids equally here and kids equally here? How many times do I have them say kids equally? Not 3. 3 is not enough. How many times do I have them say kids equally? Yeah, I would say at least 6. Why? Why do I want them to say kids equally, kids equally, kids equally, kids equally, kids equally, kids equally? Have I looked at the beneficiary form? No. So if they say kids equally 5, 6, 7 times, what can they not say at the end? Oh, wait, no, that's not how I have it set up. If they told me this kids equally 6, 7 times, guess what they can't say? That's not how I have it set up. If you don't have them say that over and over and over and over again, at the end, when you get to the point where they find out they disinherited their kids, they'll say, no, I don't think that's the way it's set up. So the reason you have the excuses here to have them say equally, equally, equally is so they can't say that at the end. Because if they say that at the end, you're going to have problems. There we go.
Good.
Oh, yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. So, but let's back up here, and so let's say
I'm going to go back here. He's talking about people loving their grandkids. Tell me if he does this enough.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. 2 lovely little grandkids. Yes. So, do you enjoy spending time with the grandkids?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but let's back up.
Oh, do you love spending time with the grandkids? Yeah. Can she at the end say she's okay with disinheriting the grandkids with that? If that's the only thing she said about her grandkids, if she's feeling defensive and feeling like she got caught with her pants down and feels like embarrassed that she's got things wrong, could she say, with that's all the times that she said she loved her grandkids, could she say that, oh no, I mean, I didn't want to go with the grandkids because I think that everything get distributed properly. Could she say that with that little thing there? How many times do I want her to say that she loves her grandkids? How many times do I want her to say that everybody loves their grandkids? How many times do I want them to say that anybody who doesn't love their grandkids is a what? A weirdo. And that's all he got. So is he kind of following the script? Yeah. Does he know what he's trying to accomplish with any of the script? Or is he just kind of walking through the script? So he's walking through the script, but he doesn't really get why he's doing the things that he's doing. Does that make sense? Because if he got what why he was doing what he's doing, he'd be spending more time there making sure she said over and over and over that she loved the kids. Getting them to say over and over and over that the kids get it equally. Here we go.
Here. So let's say that something were to happen to you and Jason, and we've said that the kids are going to get the cash. Now,
Yep.
Do you give 90% to your son and 10% to your daughter? No, doesn't work that way.
I don't think they would be happy.
That would be, well, one of them would be happy, and the other one would probably not.
Again, he's asked the question out of order, but he asked the question, and now what's he doing? Allowing her to answer and make the case for herself, or he's making the case for her? Yeah, and you're right, Mark. He did correct her.
equally. You know, so
Yeah.
so if I have.
Okay, so, and he's the one that said, did you miss it there? Let me go back.
50-50, equally. You know, so.
Yeah.
Okay, who's saying equally? He is. So now, how many times has she said the kids get equally so far? 0. Well, no, she did say 50-50 once. She said it once. How many times do I need it? 5, 6, 7 times. So right now, he's only got it that once out of her.
So, you know, if I'm looking at a pie and there's a whole pie and there's to be divided up equally.
Yeah, now is he in order, or where the hell is he? Skip 4 ahead. So we can, I'm not going to waste any more time showing that he didn't do the script appropriately. Can we all agree he didn't do the script appropriately? But what we want to is listen to the end. Does he get motive out of her? Does he get motive out of her? And that's what we'll listen to. I'm not going to stop it anywhere in between. Can we all agree that he did not follow the script at all? He doesn't know the script. So let's listen to see if he gets motive.
You know, each person gets a half. Right, exactly. So let's further this example a little bit. And let's say, you know, something happened to you, okay? Something happened to Jason, okay? And then Jason Jr. has passed away. So what happens then?
100% should go to Grace?
Yeah, 100%, okay? And if that were to happen, because, you know, there's equally to the kids and there's only one kid left, then, you know, so Grace is going to get 100%.
Yep.
Okay, if that happens, what have we done to these grandkids over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've kind of cut them out of the picture. Right, exactly. And so
far, she said, yep, yep. Has she admitted there's a problem yet, guys? Could she be thinking, yep, I see what you're saying, but I meant to disinherit the grandkids in her head? Could she be thinking that in her head? Yep. Yeah, no, yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. That's the way I meant it. I don't care. You know, Michael's going to give the grandkids. He's going to take care of her, so what's the big problem here? Could she be thinking that in her head? Yeah. That's what happens when you get satisfied with, yep, sure. But this guy thinks he's what? Killing it. That's right, Melanie. They need open-ended questions. So here we go.
Hopefully this is years down the road and the grandkids are, you know, a little older. And do you think that would be upsetting to them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really not what you and Jason would like either.
Grandpa forgot.
Yeah, Grandma and Grandpa forgot me, or worse yet, you know, Grandma and Grandpa didn't care for me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not your intention, is it?
No.
No. So what we're going to want to do here is go through a beneficiary review of all your life insurance policies, all of your retirement accounts, same thing for Jason, and make sure that we have all this stuff up to date and make sure that the beneficiary are titled properly so that we don't disinherit those grandkids. You know, and at some point, you know, if Grace has grandkids, you know, it could happen either way. We just want to make sure that we're following through with our wishes. Okay. So and then the last thing is.
So what'd she get, Jeff? What'd he get from her, Jeff?
Only that the beneficiary forms are wrong and they need to be reviewed. Nothing about the other advisor. Would
this be a beauty pageant mentality, or would this be a 5Q mentality?
No, this is totally a beauty pageant mentality. Check out what I'm going to do for you that your other ugly. Yeah, here's what I do for people that no one else does. I look at these things from my clients. I'm prettier than anybody else out there.
So he's thinking what? If I take care of these things, she's going to what? Think I'm a great guy. She does. So what? Guess who she has right now? Great guy. Hey, missed this. I'm gonna. But hey, if Brad's gonna take care of it for me, guess what? Awesome. So guys, do you see what did he accomplish with all of this that he went through right here? So this 8 minutes that he did, what did he accomplish? That's right, Nicholas. Nothing, Jerry, John. Nothing. Do we even know if she thinks that having the kids disinherited is a problem? Did she ever say it was a problem? In her own words. No. And if she doesn't know, if she hasn't even said that it's a problem, even the fact that he's fixing it could be a great thing or a ho-hum thing. If she never admits that it's not even a huge problem, him fixing it, him trying to be the hero to the rescue, she's going to be going, thanks for saving my cat from the tree. I didn't like that cat anyways. Make sense? So, guys, it's the motive. The motive. All this 8 minutes that he spent was worthless because not only does she not even, do we not even know that she thinks it's a big problem, but we certainly don't, she has not fingered, the guy is not caring about her. Her advisor not caring about her. So if you were this advisor, what would you do that night? If you were this advisor, what would you do the next day? Well, you're saying work on it. It's not the 15-minute drill. Remember, the 15-minute drill is the gods. 15-minute drill has nothing to do with scripts. Scripts take hours to learn. 15-minute drill is about being good at getting on their side, about being a better communicator. That's right, Dale. I would work on the Benny. That's right, Wade. Work on the Benny script. Because should he go back and try to relearn the whole kit and caboodle? If this is what he found out he did poorly, he should say, you know what? I don't know what else I'm going to do right, but there's one thing I'm never going to screw up again, and what's that? The beneficiary script. So that's the one he should go back. So just attack that one thing. You know, when on Groundhog's Day, he looked at what happened here and said, geez, I didn't get what I needed there. I need to go back and make sure that little scene in the movie never happens again. I need to nail that scene. So he would just go back and learn the beneficiary script backwards and forwards. Just attack your weakest point. Fix that one thing, but fix something every single day. Make sense? Coolio. So let's learn from this gentleman's weaknesses here and make sure that never happens to us. Thanks, everybody. You have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you next Monday.